So we got my favourite month, December. It's my birthday month, it's my son's birthday month. I know some people hate when you call it a birthday month because you should only have a birthday, but given that I love birthdays, I like to dedicate the month to myself. But it's also Christmas, and I used to be all about Christmas. As a child, I loved Christmas. After getting separated from my family, as I've mentioned before in my blogs, it changed. It was hard to be away from my family. I was in foster care. I was with an auntie of mine for a few Christmas, and she did everything she could to make Christmas as pleasant and festive as possible. But it didn't change the fact that I missed my brothers terribly and just the traditions that we had. But then I became a mom, and Christmas became Christmas again, because I believe that children bring Christmas and joy, and I started just living Christmas through them, and it brought me a lot of joy to make Christmas happy and joyful for them. But today I'm going to cover Christmas in Iceland and our traditions and quirks. First off, I'm going to go through foods, and then I'll just gradually work my way through Christmas. First off, I might want to mention mandarins, that small little orange fruit. As soon as they hit the stores in Iceland, you know it's Christmas, and the smell of them always reminds me of Christmas. We also have a drink in Iceland which is called malt and appelsín, which is basically a mixture of malt and a orange soda. Icelanders started drinking that because malt was very expensive, so to make it last longer they'd mix it with another drink. We do also have food that's not very pleasant. Well, I don't find it pleasant. Some people can't imagine Christmas without it. On the 23rd of December, many people go to what we call skötuveisla. Skata is stingray, and people eat rotten stingray. And when it's being cooked, the houses it's cooked in, they smell awful. It just fills every sense. This really, really strong smell of the stingray. But on Christmas Eve, the food cooked on that day does drive the smell of the stingray away. We do also have nice food. We have good traditions like cookies. That's a massive thing, and it's something I cherish from my childhood, and it's something I do for my kids. That is, we come together and we bake cookies. We bake gingerbread, we bake chocolate chip cookies, we bake meringues with licorice bites that are covered in chocolate, because Icelanders really, really love the licorice. And it doesn't have to happen in one day. You can kind of spread it, and very often if you start early you have to bake again in the middle of December or so to fill up your cookie boxes again. And this is something that the family can do together. The kids get to cut out the gingerbread and we bake it, and then they get to decorate it. And many households have from 3 to maybe 6, 7 brands of cookies. Another thing we do for Christmas related to food is Christmas buffets. And Christmas buffets are quite a big thing in Iceland. People go sometimes with the families, very often with the companies they work for. If they if they live in the countryside, like in the north or in the east, sometimes companies go all the way, travel all the way to Reykjavik with their employees, stay in a nice hotel and have a really good Christmas buffet. And it has all the main dishes one might come across during Christmas. and it's quite festive. Everybody's dressed really nicely. Women may get their nails done and hair and makeup, and people tend to buy clothes for it, and it's a big thing, and it's drinks and food, and very often ends up with a live band playing and everybody dancing, and it's a tradition I do quite cherish myself. But we have another kind of an industry related to Christmas in Iceland, which is Christmas concerts, and it's a massive thing. Most musicians in Iceland have Christmas concerts, and you book your ticket in maybe September, October, and you'll go to a nice Christmas concert. You might go out for dinner first, then Christmas concert, and who knows, you might go out dancing afterwards. It's again very festive. You've got all the bells ringing during the concert. You'll have things flying from the roof, and you'll have Christmas decorations, and it does get you into the holiday spirit. But the thing with Icelandic Christmas songs is that we tend to take Italian pop songs and turn them into Christmas songs. So we'll use the songs, but we'll change the lyrics into Icelandic Christmas songs. I don't know what it is about Italian music that Icelanders relate so strongly with Christmas, but there's something there, obviously. When it comes to the concerts, like I was talking about, you'll find the most surprising artists doing Christmas concerts. I even went last year and watched an Icelandic rapper do a Christmas concert, which was really good. It surprised me, but it was really good, and was really not what you expected from a Christmas concert. Then we've got Christmas lights, and as you can see, I've got my green Christmas tree here. But the thing is, with electricity in Iceland, it's really cheap because it's sustainable, it's green energy. So Icelanders tend to decorate a lot with lights, and we tend not to turn them off at all. We just keep them on, both because it's really dark during the winter, but also because we don't have to pay that much for it. So people choose their own preference of colours. I tend to have red lights, and it's mostly because I really like the feel it gives you inside, that it's very cozy light that you get. And then I love my candles as well. My brother studied in London, and he came and visited me in Iceland during the Christmas of 2008, and we were walking past a governmental building, and he took out his camera and started taking photos, and I asked him, what are you doing? Why are you taking pictures of the windows here? And he said, well, Hela, I have to get pictures of this because the people at school, they won't believe that a governmental building keeps the Christmas lights on while it's closed for the holidays, because you don't waste electricity like that in England. And that's something I've found, and something that we're kind of adjusting to here, to pull the plugs on everything, to turn the lights off in rooms that we exit and stuff like that, because we're just not used to it. One cannot cover Icelandic Christmas without talking about our Santas. They are very different from the Santa in England and America and elsewhere, because we've got 13 of them. They all have different names, which seem very weird to people that are not from Iceland, but because we know the stories behind the names, they do make sense to us. But we've got names like Candle Snitcher, Window Peeper, Ladle Licker, Door Slammer, but they come 13 days leading up to Christmas, one by one. The first one comes on the 11th of December, and on that day Icelandic children put their shoe in the window, and the Santa stops by the house and gives them a little present in the shoe. So we don't have this massive Christmas sock or stocking that gets filled with presents. We just get small presents, and it is a very good way to keep unruly, very excited children in good behavior. They shouldn't be threatened too badly, but the thing is, if they don't behave well, Santa might leave nothing, but the tradition is that they will leave a potato in their shoe, and nobody wants to go to school the day after and say that they got a potato in their shoe. So you might point out to them, if they're being a bit unruly, that Santa is coming and he is watching. With Santas, there are two things that are not as enjoyable. You have Grilla, and Grilla is Santa Claus's mom. She eats children, so if children behave badly, she'll come and get them and put them in her big sack and take them back to the mountains and cook them and eat them. Nowadays, Grilla does not exist. Kids know about them through the stories, but she doesn't exist anymore. But when I was a kid, she did exist, and my mom, she used her quite a lot, and she would tell me and my brother that she would call Grilla if we behaved badly, and she would have a pretend phone call with her and ask her to come and pick us up, and while she would be doing that, me and my brother would be crying our eyes out, begging her to put the phone down and promise to behave nicely. We had tears everywhere because we were terrified of that big troll, mother of the Santas. The other thing is the Christmas cat. The Christmas cat is Grilla's cat, and he eats people that don't get new clothes for Christmas. And therefore we have a tradition of new clothes for Christmas, and everybody gets dressed up and looks their best so that they don't end up in his mouth. If you want to know more about the Santas, I will put some links below and pictures and stuff, but you can also Google julelads and find some information about them. Our most festive day, our Christmas day, is Christmas Eve, not Christmas Day like in the UK and in America. So what happens on Christmas Eve is that the kids obviously get up and the family gets up. The kids get something in the shoe. Santa tends to leave them a DVD or something of that sort so that they've got something to do throughout the day. They then go and watch their movie or whatever it is that keeps them busy. The parents get up and they do the final cleaning. They do the cooking, which takes quite a few hours usually. People may have homemade ice cream that was done in preparation a few days earlier. Very often we've got smoked meat, smoked lamb for an example for Christmas. People often make their own salad, and it's a big eating fest, like I think in most places. As the day goes on, people start showering, and for the Christmas celebration itself, everybody dresses up. There we're back to the Christmas cat and the nice clothes. So even though you might just be with your children and your spouse, you will still go take a shower, get dressed up, and then everybody at 6 o'clock, everybody sits down and has a lovely meal together. Sometimes the kids get to open up one present just before dinner because they're getting just a little bit too excited. So they get to open maybe one around 5, between 4 and 5, and then they've got one toy to play with until it's dinner time. After dinner, people put everything away. They do the dishes and everything, and the kids have to wait a little bit longer, which can be really agonizing for excited little kids that have been waiting all day long for the moment of opening the presents. But when everything's been put away and the kitchen looks like there's been no eating or cooking in there, everybody sits down together, usually in the living room, and present time starts. And we open up the presents, and then after that it differs. Some people go and pop over to a family's house, but some people just relax at home and the kids play with the presents. But after that, on Christmas Day and Boxing Day, we tend to have family gatherings. Then it's like bigger families. Then you might have the extended family meeting. Again, people do tend to dress up, and there's a lot of energy put into all the eating and meeting and spending time with your family. There's usually not much alcohol around, because Icelanders are not like English people, where you go to a christening and there's alcohol, or confirmation and there's alcohol, or funeral and there's alcohol. It's quite frowned upon to have alcohol in these kind of situations. You can go to a wedding and you'll find it, and birthdays and graduations. So during Christmas, because it's like family time and it's time for the children, people tend not to have much drinks, unless maybe they're 20 and they're going downtown partying afterwards, or the days before leading up to Christmas. And then people just enjoy it. They're playing board games, they watch movies together, and it's just all about spending time with the ones that you love. This year we asked the kids, because obviously we're in England, and my fiancé is English, he's from Wolverhampton, and we asked the kids what they wanted to do, whether we should have English Christmas and open the presents on Christmas Day and eat nice lunch, or have Icelandic Christmas, or maybe a mixture of both. And this Christmas we're gonna have both. So on Christmas Eve we're gonna do all the Icelandic traditional things, but we will only open the presents from the Icelandic family and friends. And then on Christmas Day we're gonna wake up and go down in our PJs and open up the UK presents, and then we've actually booked a table somewhere to eat, because I do want to relax during Christmas as well. And being a student, I will be studying because I've got exams in January. But that's Christmas, Icelandic Christmas for you, and Icelandic Christmas traditions in very short. But if you have any questions, I can try to answer them, and I will try to put some links and pictures below in my blog, so that you can see some of the things I'm talking about and even read up more about them. So thank you.